Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this session of the Financial Planning and Insurance School's online open week. We are on day 5 today, Friday. It is a good day. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Michaela Thomas, and I'm from the marketing team. And today I'm going to just share a few house rules with you, a little how to know crowdcast and where to find things, and then I'll hand over to the lovely Brunhilde. But before I do that, on the right side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, there is a chat box. Please say hello, give us a wave, a smile. Hattie said good morning, so let's hope that someone can say hi. We will engage with you there, so if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them there. There's also a poll live, ladies and gentlemen, at the bottom of your screen. If you want us to send you some more information, do you want a sales consultant to contact you after the session, please say yes on the poll. Just give us a yes, and we'll get in contact with you. There's also an ask a question facility at the bottom of your screen. So if you want any of your lecturers that you're going to be seeing today to answer any questions with regards to the program, with regards to Milpark, that's where you'll ask them there. So for the moment, I'm going to hand over to Brunhilde to take us through the first part of the session. Thank you so much, Brunhilde.
Thank you very much, Michaela. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. While we work through this session, I see that there's already some fees questions on there. Just to let you know, if you want any fees regarding the Postgrad Diploma, all the details you can find on the website. Alternatively, please also, like Michaela said, click on the poll and we'll make contact with you and discuss the fees with you. Okay, so we're going to start off this morning, just a brief overview on who we are. Michaela, if you could just maybe bring up the next slide. So Milpark Education is part of the Stadio Holdings Group, who also owns Avda, and then the Stadio as well. And then under the Milpark Education business school, we've got different schools, a lot of brothers and sisters there. We've got the Milpark Business School, the School of Commerce, the Investment and Banking School, the college, and then obviously the Financial Planning and Insurance School, and the reason why we're here today. Okay, Milpark was established in 1997, and we have a wide variety of qualifications that we offer from certificate level to doctorate level. We've got campuses in Melville, in Johannesburg, as well as an office in Claremont, in Cape Town. And our mission is that we want to provide Africans the opportunity to reimagine their future through flexibility, accessibility, supportive and lifelong business education solutions. We want everyone to have an extraordinary life, and we want to partner with you on your financial planning learning journey. So I think that's a wonderful mission that we have there. And it's something that we strive towards. Okay, just looking at our programs that we offer on, like I said, a wide variety. On the NQF Level 4, we've got the certificate in financial products. On the NQF Level 5, we have the highest certificate in financial planning, the highest certificate in financial products, as well as the highest certificate in short-term insurance. On the NQF Level 6, we have the Advanced Certificate in Financial Planning and the Advanced Certificate in Short-Term Insurance. And then in conjunction with the School of Commerce, we also offer NQF Level 7, a BCom with a major in Financial Planning, or a BCom with a major in Short-Term Insurance. And then the reason we're all here today is the NQF Level 8 Postgrad Diploma in Financial Planning that we offer. So thank you, Michaela. Next slide. The Milpark Education Postgrad Diploma in Financial Planning addresses the educational requirements for the designation of Certified Financial Planner, or CFP, which is awarded by the Financial Planning Institute of South Africa. As you know, this is the highest designation for financial planners in South Africa, and it's also internationally recognized. So once you have completed your postgrad diploma at Milpark Education, you will be eligible to apply to the FPI to write the competency exam to get certified as a financial planner. We also appear on the Financial Sector Conduct Authority's list of recognized qualifications for fit and proper purposes. Thank you, Michaela. And this is now why we say you should study at Milpark Education. This is where we brag a little bit about our Milpark alumni. We, in the competency examinations during 2020, in February, we took the first and second place, and the top four, or 4 out of the top 5 candidates were Milpark alumni. And then during the August exams, we took the first, second, third, and fifth place out of the top 5 candidates. During this year, we had in March, we took the second and the fourth place out of the top 5 candidates, and we had a pass rate of 68% compared to the overall pass rate of 46%. And then our staff that will be helping you through your journey in the Postgrad Diploma would be myself as the program oversight owner, our program manager, Wadia Dramat, and then our lecturers will then be myself, Pichu Windal, who is also our head of school, Marlies Pitter, who is the executive dean of Milpark, and Harry van der Merwe. So just looking at the modules on the Postgrad Diploma in Financial Planning, you will notice that we have 7 modules. I'll work through the 7 modules with you. Many of the other universities only has 4 modules, but we've broken them down to more specific areas so that we can concentrate and make sure that everyone knows exactly what they need to know on all the specific areas. So starting with the modules, you'll see all the modules have a 20 credit bearing credit, and except for the Induction to Financial Planning, which doesn't have a credit, but is also a compulsory module. Okay, then the Induction to Financial Planning, the lecturer there is Marlies Pitter. For Financial Planning, Environment, and Risk and Estate Planning, it is myself who is the lecturer. We then have the financial planning the investment planning, who is also where Marlies Pitter is also the lecturer. Then we also have the retirement planning, where Pichu Windal is the lecturer, and then we also have the corporate financial planning, where Harry van der Merwe is the lecturer, and finally the case study, which also belongs to Pichu Windal. Okay, so just a short overview of what these modules look like. What does it look on DLO module? So what would your weeks look like when you're doing the Postgrad Diploma in Financial Planning? You'll start off on your 8-week cycle. In your first week, you'll have an assignment. In your second week, you'll have an online test. In your third week, another assignment. In your fourth week, another online test. And week 5, another assignment, which will be a big assignment, which contributes quite a lot towards your qualification or the module total. And then in week 6, you'll have another online test. Thereafter, during week 7 and 8, you'll have a chance to review the work, to work through the mock exams that's provided, and just to prepare for your exams. On the last day of the 8th week, on the 8-week cycle, you will write your exams, and then you can move on to the next module. So we've thought it well to just introduce you a little to what the pages look like, what you can find where on the pages, just to give you a feel for it. To start off, you have an overview tab where you have a welcome note. We just give you a short introduction to the course and what you can expect, and then also who the lecturers and online lecturers will be for the course. Next slide, Michaela. Also on the overview tab, we present you with a schedule just to indicate what your weeks will look like. And then we also add there a study plan that contains all the information for each week, indicating again if it'll be a test, an assignment, what topics will be covered, whether there will be live sessions or there will be recordings that you can view. We also make available an assessment guideline where you can find all the details regarding apologies for that. Welcome to load shedding. On the assessment guidelines, you will find information regarding how much a test or assignment will contribute towards your final mark, and they will also give you a broad overview of what your exam will look like. Looking at the next one, also under the overview tab, we've got an announcement page where we just post announcements. These announcements get you get emailed these announcements to your designated email address on the Milpark website. So you should, for any announcements made, you will receive an email. Also on there, you will find resources, rules, and support. So you'll find the student code of conduct, the Milpark referencing guide, speaking about plagiarism and how to reference, and then also a bit of a guide on how to study online, the etiquette for you that you should use while you're studying online, and then all this study documents, any information or disciplinary codes or anything that you need to be aware of and need to look at, you can find on there. We also have the prescribed study material under this tab, where we will indicate what you need. We'll place an order form there for you in case you haven't ordered your financial planning handbook, and then also make available all the relevant tax information that we will be using on the module. We also, under this tab, we have the Introduce Yourself forum, which is on the next slide. In this forum, we introduce the online lecturer to you, and we also ask students to introduce themselves, tell us a bit more about themselves, so that we can all get to know each other a little bit, and so that students can also get a feel for each other and the lecturer and what they can expect. Then very importantly, sorry, Michaela, just one slide back, we also have the online lecturer support, the tutor forum, which is available to students where they can post any information or any questions regarding any study material or anything regarding calculations or explanations that you require from someone. You can post on there. You can move on to the next slide, Michaela. So just to give you a brief overview of what it looks like on the tutor forum, you basically click on the link and you can go there on the green tab and add a discussion. The tutor or online lecturer will give you feedback within 48 hours, and you will find the feedback on there. The online lecturer might also post some weekly posts on the tutor forum, so it's very important that you go and have a look and keep on reading all the posts and everything on the tutor forum, just to make sure that you don't miss anything. It's a very useful tool. A lot of times and many of the students have the same question, and then one student asks the question there and it gets answered, and then we don't have to answer the question 7 or 8 times. Everyone can get it on there. The next tab there is when we move on to the Live at Milpark tab. On this tab, you will find information and slides and a video on how to access the online classes, or the live sessions as we call them. There we will also upload any recordings and slides on the topics, so you can find all of the live sessions and everything on there. Moving on to the weekly tabs, I just chose the midweek or smack in the middle of the course, week 4 there, just to give you an indication of what the weeks look like. All the weeks are based on the same format. We give you a brief overview of what we cover for the week, which topics in your guide will cover, and then also what the objectives are for the week. And then we also make available to you on Vital Source, the Vital Source version of your study guide that you can access from there, and you can go and search. If you have specific searches, you can go and search it on there. Also on the weekly tab, then we have either the formative, we have the formative assessments, either the online tests or the assignments. All online tests will be multiple choice questions. And then also on the next slide, we've got just an overview of what the assignment tab would look like. You will download a Word document, complete your assignment on the document, and then upload it again onto the tab, and it will be marked from there. You will also be able to get your marks or view your marked assignment from there, but we'll give you some more detail on that once you've enrolled in the course. Then also, the next tab we have is the exam preparation tab, where we will have a live session on exam preparation, and also then a detailed feedback session on the last assignment, which contribute quite a big amount towards the final mark. So we do a detailed feedback session there. Any information that you might find relevant towards an exam, you can also find on there. On the next slide, Michaela, you can see that we give you information on the exam structure. We also provide you with the annexure that you will be using in the exam. This is in a module where it's not an open book. So this is something that will be provided. We also, in some instances, provide you with sample questions, and then also previous exam papers that you can work through just to prepare for your exam. Then the last tab there is your summative assessment exam tab. This is a broad overview of what it looks like. You get an exam instruction document that gives you a detailed explanation of how to enter your exams and what is the requirements for your computer and your network to be able to have a stable connection during your exam. And we also give you just an explanation of what the exam will look like, what the exam rules are, and what to do and what not to do. Also on there, we have an online proctoring lesson plan that we have available for all students that they need to work through to make sure that you are familiar with all the proctorio requirements. So proctorio is used during some of your tests, and then also during your exam. Then there you also will find your summative assessments itself, where you can write your tests. And we also do make available a proctored exam, a mock exam, which is a shortened version of what you can expect in the exam, just to give you a little bit of, just to make a bit of practice and just to see that you can get used to the proctorio requirements for the exam. So just another opportunity to prepare for the exams. Then just to quickly just to move on then, while you're studying your postgraduate diploma in financial planning, you will have to depend heavily on Wadia Dramat, who is the program manager. And I'd like to introduce her to you and ask her just tell us a bit about your role, Wadia, and a little bit about yourselves. I know that you will be the students' eyes, ears, and mouth while they're studying. So, yeah, you need to really get to know Wadia a little bit because she will be there for you through your whole studies. Thank you, Wadia.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you, Bramilda, for that. As Bramilda explained, I'm the program manager for the qualification. I've been with the institution for 15 years. And yes, I've been around the block from sales to program manager. So my role as your program manager basically means that I am your first point of call. I will assist with admissions and your registration processes. I'm also here to assist with your exemption queries that you have. Between me, the academics, we will also look at RPL selections that we have, so students being admitted via that route. So yes, basically that is in a nutshell what I do. So I liaise between the academic, your online lecturer, as well as the rest of the Milpark community with accounts, sales, the DLO support. So I liaise with everybody to ensure that you have a smooth journey throughout your qualification. Next slide, Michaela. So just about me, as I said, I've been with the industry with Milpark for 15 years. I have a 15-year-old son, so busy life. I'm a mom, a program manager, a wife, so yes, quite busy. And obviously, I'm here from 8 till 4 to help and assist you where I can. If there's something that I don't know, I will obviously go and find assistance for you, whether it is from the academic or IT. If we have any IT-related queries, I'm not an IT expert, but I'll always try and find a solution for the problem. Just a little bit. Next slide, Michaela. Okay. Yeah, so I'm very passionate about education as a whole. As I said, I've been here for a while, and for me, being at grads, watching students graduate is the ultimate satisfaction, knowing that the journey you've taken to reach your end goal. So that is very important to me, and yeah, I derive great satisfaction from that, knowing that we've all come together and you've finished and completed your qualification. So that is why we yearn what we do and how we try to do things as best as we can to assist you. Next slide, please. Okay, just a little bit about the qualification. You're required to have a BCom degree, which is on the old NQF level 6 or on the new level 7. We also require you to have maths, and if you do not have maths, anything which you've done post matric, which is math related, we also will look at that. We also require students to provide us with a detailed CV of themselves, because we use that in conjunction to provide you with a study plan. So we're looking at people with 10 years working experience within the industry. Students who have insufficient or no or outdated tax, as tax is a very important requirement on this qualification, you might be required to do the qualification over a 2-year period, where you will be required to do induction and financial planning environment as your first 2 modules. And only upon completing those will we allow you to then continue with the rest of the qualification. Next slide, please. Students who does not hold an BCom qualification or an appropriate BCom qualification, which means some students with an NQF level 5 and NQF level 6 in financial planning, we will consider those students via recognition of prior learning. We still require the 10 years working experience within the industry together with the NQF level 5 and level 6 qualification in financial planning. Next slide, please. On admission, when I do admissions for students, I normally provide them with a detailed study plan, which we want them to follow. Obviously, it's not cast in stone because we understand that life happens. So if there is a session or a cycle that you're not able to complete, you can always do it at the next available when the module becomes available again. So it's not cast in stone. However, if you are admitted by recognition of prior learning, you will have a set, as I explained previously, induction and financial planning environment which you need and which you are required to complete. Then there is the retirement planning module, which is a prerequisite for our investment planning module. So students need to have completed or have attempted the module before they can register for investment planning. And then case study is the last module. So you cannot start with a case study. You will finish with case study on this qualification. As explained, this qualification is divided, so you can only do 1 module per exam session or per cycle. And every module runs over an 8-week period, except for our case study, which runs over a 12-week period. In terms of the modules, induction is the only one where you do not write an exam. There's just online tests to complete. But for the rest of the qualification, you will write your assessments and then you'll also complete an exam. Next slide, please. And then lastly, we have collaborated with Capitec Bank to assist our students with funding for those who are unable to make payments for modules, so they can go to Capitec. It's an online process, and they can apply for funding with Capitec. Those arrangements, once that is completed, we will then allow students to do the registration or the admission and then the registration. So if you are interested, please contact Capitec. The details will be available on our Milpark website for you to assist. Yeah, please come on board. We'd love to have you. I can just say one thing about the qualification. You need dedication, determination, discipline. Discipline again, it is, some students underestimate this qualification, but in conjunction with me, the academics, our online lecturers, we are here to help and support you. So get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wadia, for giving us a bit of a background on your role and letting us know more about the qualification. We really appreciate it. I'm going to bring Brunhilde back and a couple more members of our team. I see we have both lovely ladies. Can you see and hear us?
Yes.
Awesome. So we have Brunhilde and we have Petra Odendaal there as well. Let me bring in some others. Let me bring in Marlies and let me bring in Gerry. Guys, this is now time for you to ask some questions. If you have any questions on what has been said so far, please, I invite you to use the Ask a Question facility. This is just a beat to make sure that everybody knows where to find it. It's at the bottom of your screen and on the right. I see there's been some lovely conversations going there and questions. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much to our lecturers who've been answering them. And we're going to go straight into the module description. So guys, we'll take the Q&A afterwards. Marlies, do you want to say something?
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Awesome. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go through the modules themselves with the lecturers, and I'm going to ask Brunhilde to take us through that part. But thank you so much, Wadia, for showing us the back ropes and talking to us about Capitec, and we hope you have a great day further.
A pleasure.
Awesome. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much. Okay, so when we just looking at the modules there, I've mentioned who will be the lecturers on the modules. The first one that we kick off with is the Induction to Financial Planning, a module that needs to be done by every student that enters into the financial planning or the PG Dip in financial planning. And there we have Marlies to talk to us about the induction module.
Thank you very much, and welcome also from my side to our session this morning. I've listened to Wadia, and I just wanted to say that I had a very inspiring discussion with one of our students in the past week. It's a 72-year-old gentleman who took on this challenge, and he said it has been one of the best experiences of his life. He has been studying quite a bit, and he said that this has been one of the best experiences for him thus far. So that is one of the reasons why we have the Induction to Financial Planning module. If I look at the queries that you have posted there, students come from different backgrounds. Some of you will come with a bachelor's degree, a very specific specialization in tax. Others we have admitted with years of experience working in the industry, a lot of product knowledge, but maybe not so familiar with some of the more technical aspects around the calculations and so forth. So we have decided to introduce the induction module. Number one, to establish a platform for our students to work from, so that we know that these basic things all of our students have covered, and we can assume what we refer to as embedded knowledge. In other words, it's knowledge that you have gained and that we can then tap into when we move over to the rest of the modules. So it's there to establish that basis that we then want you to work from. We have also found that it is very daunting to start with your first module on the Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Planning on this 8 weeks, which we refer to as distance learning online model, if you have not had prior exposure to it. So I've seen some of the questions again, speaking to the assessments. The whole course was designed so that we have building blocks. Every week forms part of a very important building block for you, so that at the end you are well prepared for your exam. At the end of the day, it is our purpose to prepare you to be successful in the exam, and at the end to be successful in the professional competency exam. And this is what we have decided works best. And therefore, we have the assessment at the end of every week. And the other important part of this model is that we want to give you immediate feedback, or then feedback that is available within the shortest possible space of time, so that you have time to self-correct. So, for example, in the first week of the induction to financial planning, we cover just what is this all about? How would you need to think about how to structure your work and your life around your studies? Because we all need to keep all of the different balls in the air. And then how does it work? How do we collaborate with you? What you can expect from us? What we can expect from you, how we interact with the online lecturer, the classroom, the online classroom, etc. And then you have a small assignment that you submit at the end of that week. Week 2, you work on, and I'm just going to use this final example to illustrate the point. You will work through the basic legislative aspects that you need to be familiar with, some very important cases within the financial services industry. And then again, you have a small online test that you need to complete. Because you get your feedback, so then 3 days later, you then have time to go back if you have missed out on something, correct your understanding before you move forward. So we try to eliminate areas where you have a knowledge gap or a skills gap. And then, as you work through the study material, this problem it becomes like a snowball that becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. With the smaller assessments and the shorter turnaround times with feedback, it provides you with that opportunity to close that gap sooner. So that's the purpose of the induction module, to get you settled in for the rest of the modules. We also look at time value of money calculations, which is such an extremely important part of many of the other modules that we work with. We look at economics. We provide a basic course to taxation and introduction. And then what we have found is we have many people from maybe a management position coming into this qualification who may not have had the prior exposure to the financial products. What is an endowment? What is a sinking fund? When do I use it? So the final 2 weeks, we then focus on the specific financial products that we will have to be able to advise on in future modules. And then we start with the financial planning environment module.
Thank you, Marlies. Thank you for that detailed description. I think that gives a very nice overview of what you can expect for your course. Moving on to the financial planning environment, which is one of my modules, I want to just illustrate that at this stage, when you look at the induction to financial planning and then the financial planning environment, these will be your building blocks, your platform from where you start your qualification. The financial planning environment doesn't only look at legislation that impacts on the financial planning environment or in the regulatory environment, but it also looks at detailed tax calculations for individuals and companies, and it gives you a broad but detailed overview in the field of financial planning. And I just want to mention that these two modules are very important, because in all your other modules you will use either one of the two or both of them. Financial planning mainly focuses, I want to say, on tax, whether it be from retirement tax tables or individual tax, or then estate duty calculations. Everything involves some sort of tax or calculation. So that is why these modules are so important. And then the next module there would be the risk and estate planning module. If you can just move another slide. Thank you, Michaela. This is also one of my modules. During this module, we look we'll get students to have an in-depth knowledge about the products and the tax consequences and the structure and the nature and features and benefits of various products available to address any risk needs, including medical aids. We also enable students to be able to do a capital needs analysis to provide comprehensive advice to their clients and to address any risk needs that might be that the clients might have. We also have look into the technical detail of estate planning and equip you with the knowledge to be able to advise your clients on any estate-related issues that they might have, which also includes looking at wills and also trusts, where we touch on as well. Then moving on to the next module, we have the retirement planning module by Pietru Oedendaal. I said to her, I think I'm just going to say that the name says it all, but I think there's a bit more to it than just retirement planning. Thank you, Pietru.
Thank you, Brunilde. Yes, so in retirement planning, we build on the foundations of time value of money that you started off with in the induction module, and we focus heavily on a capital needs analysis pre-retirement. We also focus on use the tax knowledge from the financial planning environment module to make sure that you can do tax calculations related to retirement, such as a Section 11F deduction calculation or lump sum tax calculations. The module is split between pre-retirement planning and at or post-retirement planning, so we cover both aspects of that. And then we don't just focus on general retirement planning, we also have a big emphasis on events that can happen to a client. So we focus on the impact of divorce on retirement planning, of retrenchment, and also of immigration on retirement planning. We also have a week or two where we spend time just making sure that we are up to date with the most recent changes in retirement planning, because there have been quite a lot of changes in the last 4 or 5 years or so. So we make sure that we are up to date with the recent changes and that you can apply that to any client scenario that you encounter. It is important that you are good with your calculations. We will definitely focus on that, and it's also important for you to master it, because the next module, investment planning, you need retirement planning as a prerequisite, because you need to be able to do the analyses, because in investment planning, they just assume, Marlies will just assume that you can do a capital needs analysis, and she will throw you in the deep end there with the investments.
Thank you, Pietru. And then, like Pietru said now, Marlies is the owner of the investment planning module. So Marlies, if you can maybe just give us a bit more detail on the module itself.
Definitely. So the investment planning module then looks at the different building blocks that you need before you can put an investment plan together for a client. So yes, it looks at the analysis part, like Pietru mentioned, but it also looks at the nature of the underlying building blocks of investment, so that we can understand what the impact is of the economy on our clients' portfolios, that we know how to put, it's not about portfolio management, but that we know how to interact with the portfolio manager or the investment managers then to put a solution together for our clients within the investment planning space. So we will not do necessarily the calculations around retirement, but we may look at the portfolio and the investment portfolio. We look at the current client's current portfolio. We analyze that. We look at fact sheets, how to interpret it, how to explain it to clients in order to derive an investment plan for a client at the end.
Thank you, Marlies. And then moving over to the corporate financial planning, we have Harry. The corporate financial planning is a very specific area within the financial planning industry. So, Harry, if you can just please give us some more detail on the corporate financial planning.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Brunilde. So after you've done all of these different modules on that are really focused on personal financial planning, we kind of take a different angle and you look at it from the perspective of business. And the basis of the module is really business entities. So we discuss the different type of business entities that you can use in South Africa in quite a lot of detail. It's important when you're giving financial advice to understand how the type of business entity influences the different solutions and how they can be structured for a business. Just little things that though your business structure influences your tax implications, for instance, on some of your business assurance solutions. It also builds on the retirement analyses because it also covers retirement funds again, but more from the perspective of corporate financial planning, maybe group schemes, something like that. And also your management of retirement funds. The different businesses could implement a pension fund or a provident fund for their employees. and then some of them run it themselves. So we give you a little bit more information on that, and you get engaged into, okay, how do you treat different situations with your retirement funds. Then the core of the module is really your business assurance solutions, business-specific solutions that use financial planning products or perhaps not. And we also we have a whole topic on the tax implications, because it makes a big difference. And I know if you've run a business before, you're always interested in the tax breaks that you can get in any way that you can. So we discuss those in detail and how you can plan for those. And we have a short section, but an important section on interpreting financial statements. This is not an accounting module, so we're not going to ask you to draw up income statements or something like that, but we want you to interpret financial statements. And that's definitely from my time as a practicing financial planner. Something that I remember is just when you dealt with your business clients, you always wanted to look at their financial statements because it painted a different picture, and you kind of got into it and you could identify things and really assist your clients in that way. And that's what the module ends up with. Thank you. That's it for my module, Brunilda.
Thank you, Gary. And then last but definitely not the least, we have the case study module. Like Wadia indicated, all other modules need to be completed or at least attempted before you do the case study module. And here to tell us why is Peter Windel.
So the case study module, as the name suggests, deals with a case study. We take all the knowledge that you've gained in the previous modules. We give you an in-depth case study about of a client, the client's background, the client's needs and requirements, finances, liabilities, income and expenses, and then we ask you to advise the client accordingly. And the questions that we can ask can relate to any of the fields that we previously covered, but also focuses heavily on holistic financial planning. We know we cannot look at needs in isolation. We need to look at the client as a holistic individual and make sure that we address everything across the board, considering the budget and any constraints that there might be for the client. It is a 12-week module where all our other modules are focusing on 8 weeks. So we recap all the modules that you've done very quickly to make sure that you are just up to date with the most recent changes, because it may be that you did the environment module a year or so ago. So we spend a little bit of time just recapping the content of the other modules, but then we focus the majority of our time on preparing you to answer a case study question. This is then also modeled after the professional competency exam that you may decide to write to become a CFP professional. And yes, this is our way of preparing you to make sure that you are successful in the PCE. And as Brunilda said earlier on, we're doing well at preparing our students. Our students are faring excellently in the PCE exams.
Thank you very much, Pietru. That is then all on the modules.
Thank you so much, guys. That was amazing and insightful into sort of, I mean, you see these module names when you start registering and you go, I have no idea what these mean, but now to see them all together in conjunction is amazing. And I sort of go, financial planning is definitely something to look into. I'm not sitting in marketing, but you never say never. It definitely looks really interesting. So guys, we are going to have a Q&A session just now, but for the moment, I'm going to give you a minute or two just to put your questions in. I'm just going to remind you as well that we are available online at our website at www.milpark.ac.za. We also have some fabulous social media pages, guys. We are really proud of them. Go find us on Facebook and LinkedIn, Twitter and Instagram. We have specifically a financial planning and insurance LinkedIn page, which we share there often, and please go and engage with us there as well. If you have any questions that aren't answered in the session, please guys give a yes on the poll, and we'll have one of our sales consultants give you a call, have a chat with them, and ask, and we hope to have you on this learning journey with us. So I'm going to just quickly make sure we are all in focus and not small at the bottom of the screen. I want to see all of the lovely faces. There we go. And I'm going to start going through some of the Q&As. Marilise, I see there's been quite a few lovely ones on the side that you've been engaging with. Is there anything that you'd like to chat around? I see Vinesh asked you to talk more about the RPL, but I think Wadia might be able to help with that as well. So between you two, chat a bit more about it.
Okay, so I'll go, Wadia, it's fine. So let me just explain to you that the regulated entry requirement for a postgraduate degree is a bachelor's or then a relevant bachelor's degree. That is on NQF level 7 because the postgrad is on an NQF level 8. So if you then come with at least an NQF level 6 in financial planning, the advanced certificate in financial planning with Milpark, for example, and you come with years of experience in the industry, client facing, then you can apply to be admitted to the postgrad in financial planning via the recognition of prior learning or then the RPL route. Unfortunately, the number of candidates that we are allowed to admit based on recognition of prior learning is limited by legislation. So we are only allowed to admit 10% of our cohort. In other words, if we have 100 students, then only 10 of those students can be admitted without having completed an NQF level 7 relevant bachelor's degree. So we have had one question on NQF level 5. We will not, what we will do is we will either suggest you to complete the NQF level 6 and then see how well you are doing so that you can apply possibly to be admitted via the RPL route, or then for fairly young candidates, the BCom route is the best route. It also depends on what you want to do at the end of the day. Okay, so that is then based on that. So the criteria that we look at is experience, number one, and ultimately recognition of prior learning is there for more mature students who did not previously have the opportunity to study, but they have years and years of experience in the industry. So that is why experience, client-facing industry experience is very important for us. But then we also look, because we get an immense amount of applications. So we then also look at the academic performance of the students on the advanced certificate in financial planning. That is an important determining factor for us. Unfortunately, we have found with our research that if a student struggle on NQF level 6, even if they have a lot of experience, then we almost set them up for failure moving into the postgrad in financial planning. So we also do not want to admit students, and we know that even with all of the support, they still lack very important gaps in their knowledge in order for us to be able to assist them to be successful. So those are the parameters within which we operate, and those are the considerations. And at the end of the day, if we accept a student on the PGDIP, we want to make sure that we can get the student the support they need to be successful. And so it also looks to the profile of each individual student.
No, thank you, Marlies, for that. I really appreciate it. And guys, this is also one of the core things I love about Milpark, is we are there to help you no matter where you are. Come to us. We will point you in the right direction. There are many qualifications available, not just within, obviously, financial planning, as we're chatting today, but there are many other schools as well. And if you find that you don't get into one program, it's not the end. You come back to us. We'll help you and really guide you along that journey. There is another question for someone who'd like to take it. I'm going to open it up to the floor. Does having an appropriate NQF level 7 qualification mean those recognized by the FSCA? Question mark. It's in the Ask a Question facility at the bottom of the screen. Does having an appropriate NQF level qualification mean specifically those registered or recognized by the FSCA?
I'm going to take it from if the qualification is on the list of the FSCA, will it be acceptable for admission to the PGDIP? Not necessarily, because the FSCA list is something completely different. If you look at it, some of those qualifications may be in a completely separate field from the field of financial planning. The admission requirements falls under separate legislation, and it's legislated that it must, for PGDIP in financial planning, that it must be a bachelor's degree relevant to the area of financial planning. So we take a very broad view. What we will, for example, do is if you have a bachelor's in business administration, for example, a bachelor's with marketing area of specialization, we have some candidates coming in with a BSc in financial, what is that one, that we often get, but if you come in with those qualifications, what we will do is we will ask you to first complete the Induction to Financial Planning module, and then we will ask you to complete the financial planning environment module. So the bottom line is, if you have an NQF Level 7 qualification that sits on the FSCA's list, then please apply for admission to the PGDIP directly, because we can actually provide you with the building blocks so that we can give you full admission to the postgrad. Those building blocks will be: you complete the Induction to Financial Planning module, then the Financial Planning Environment module, and if you successfully complete both, then you will receive full admission to the PGDIP and you will be allowed to continue. I just want to explain the reasoning for that. As you've heard from everyone speaking here, taxation forms a fundamental part of all of the other modules. So it becomes a big stumbling block if you do not have the required knowledge in the area of taxation before you start with the other modules. So what we say is, you have a bachelor's degree, so we give you those building blocks and then you move on. So that is the very long answer.
No, I mean, it's important that we share this knowledge and explain our processes during these sessions, because someone can always come back and rewatch this and they'll go, oh, okay, there we go, I understand it, which is fantastic. So I love online recorded sessions. So guys, just on that note, the session is recorded. Don't forget, if you want to come back and I want to just check what this module's about, or I didn't quite understand what our DLO meant, come back and rewatch and see each of the lectures as they walk through those steps. So someone has asked, James has asked, is it compulsory to have an NQF Level 8 in order to write the CFP exam? Question mark.
Okay, I'll answer that one as well. Yes, you either need a postgraduate diploma in financial planning or a BCom honors, that was also mentioned in the chat, in financial planning, in order to get access to the professional competency exam. However, they have a dispensation where they allowed, you can be a CA, a chartered accountant, and then also in specific areas in the legal fields with, I think, 10 years of experience, client-facing industry experience, where you can apply to the Financial Planning Institute directly to consider whether they can accept you without, to write the PCE without completing the PGDIP. So there are some dispensations.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much, Marilise, for that answer. We're going to be coming sort of wrapping up towards the end now in the last couple of minutes. I do want to remind everybody that we are available online. Go and find us, go and apply online on our website. If you'd like someone to hold your hand and walk you through those steps, not a problem. Click yes on the poll and one of our fantastic sales advisors will contact you after the session. And just a reminder, guys, of course, we've now coming to the end of a fantastic week of information, and we've had some great programs showcased in the last week. They are all recorded, guys, and they're all available to view. We've also popped them onto our YouTube channel in case anybody wants to just share that as well. Go, hey, go look, it's on our YouTube channel to see all of the programs that we love and hold dear to our hearts in the School of Financial Planning and Insurance. We also did promise you guys some prizes. So for those who have been watching us live, and this is a fantastic, as we sort of ending up, those who have watched us live, we have been keeping a close eye on you. Don't worry, we have the list of names, and at the beginning of next week we will do a raffle and we'll see and pull a name out of a hat, a metaphorical hat, of course, this is online, and we will get in contact with you. So guys, thank you so much for, like, if you have been in the last week showing up to everyone, we really appreciate it, and hopefully you'll win a fantastic voucher, and we've got a magazine subscription, which is also I think fabulous, on your way if you come and watch us. So there is another question. This is, where do we apply for RPL? Anybody want to take that? Where does one apply?
You apply at exactly the same place as where you would apply for admission to the qualification. For all of the students or then applicants applying for admission to the postgrad, what we require is a CV with more information about you, and we use that to get some feedback on your experience in the industry. We also ask you to upload your results letters or then certificates for other courses completed, results letters for other qualifications completed, if not with Milpark. And then we will contact you. Wadia will reach out to you if we need more information from you. And then when we consider the RPL applications, we will then give you feedback. So it's exactly the same place. I think somebody will post maybe it there for you. Otherwise, just apply or answer yes in the poll, and somebody will contact you.
Yes. So there was a question, do we apply via student services email address? Is the way of applying on the website. So we are quite fabulous. We have both. So you can email student services, you can apply online at our website, or just to save you some time and some effort, just click yes on the poll and we'll get someone to contact you. There's also another question that's come through. It says, is there a process to work as a CFP outside of South Africa? Everything seems very South Africa specific.
So the CFP is an international designation. So it is recognized internationally, and therefore with that designation you may be able to transfer to other professional industry bodies in other countries. So for the partners organizations, you are welcome to refer to the FPSB, the Financial Planning Services Board website, and you can then look at the different countries that they work with.
Awesome.
For the CFP. Pietro, I don't know if you, from your background, want to share more?
I tried. I looked into applying to be a CFP professional in the UK, and they require of you to just do an updated course on the respective countries' tax laws and product laws. So it's not like they will require you to repeat the whole qualification. It's just small courses to make sure that you, obviously the tax in every country differs. So you need to know that we are up to date with the tax and the products in that respective country, and then your designation is transferred to that other country.
I'm pretty sure Australia is more or less the same thing. I read that somewhere about somebody who did it, and they also just had to update and kind of get up to speed with the local legislation, and then they could retain their designation.
Michaela, there's one thing I want to just quickly mention that I think might have gotten lost during the day. We run, as Brunilda said, in cycles, the 8 weeks or the 12-week cycles, and our induction module, which is your first module, runs in every single cycle. So it's not like you can only start studying in January or only start studying in July. There are 6 opportunities for you to start studying throughout the year. So yes, registration might be closing today, but there's another registration cycle that's closing in 8 weeks time. Okay. So if there's a little bit of a delay on your side, or your RPL admission takes longer, or getting your CV together might take a little bit longer than you hoped, it's not like it's a 6-month delay that's been caused. We'll get you on the next cycle. We run 3 modules in each cycle. It's always the induction module, and then 2 of our other modules running. And the minimum time to complete the qualification depends on when you start, but it ranges between 12 months and I think 16 months. I speak under correction.
Yeah, 18 months to 1 to 2 years.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you, Wadia. So guys, thank you so much to all of our lecturers and our program manager, Wadia, for being a part of the session today. I see we have about 2 minutes left, so I'm going to start guiding us towards the end. I just want to say thank you to the audience. Thank you guys for some awesome questions. This is what these sessions are for, to find out more, and we really appreciate your enthusiasm and your engagement on the platform today. I do want to say thank you to Marilise for chatting with us about all of the RPLs and how that works. I want to say thank you to Gerrie, Brunhilde, and Pietro for walking us through the program and a bit more about the modules, and of course Marilise as well talked about her modules. And then Wadia, thank you so much for giving us a bit of insight into what you do and more about you and why you love the program. I think it's great to have graduations as the focus and say, you know, when I get to say they did it and sit there with them and experience that joy. I think that's always one of my also favorite moments in the year, is to see people graduate. So guys, just from my side, I want to say thank you so much. And I hope you have a fantastic day further. And I always end my sessions by waving, just because we're online. So I'm going to wave and say goodbye. But thank you so much to everyone, and I hope you have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.